That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about episode 1 of Moon Knight, which is available to stream as of March 30th, 2022 on Disney+. It's a 6-episode series, and each episode is being spaced a week apart. There are 2 directors across the 6 episodes. Mohamed Diab, an actual Egyptian, which is pertinent to this material, who directed this episode. And he directed 4. 2 of them are directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who are directors that drive me a little crazy when they cast themselves in their own productions, so this should be interesting.
Oh, you have a history with them.
Goes way back. No. And this is notably phase 4 of the MCU, which I'm not really that well versed in what any of that means, but...
Well, I'm probably less versed. I definitely haven't seen all of the Marvel movies, and I can only think of like 3 I enjoyed.
Yeah, the enjoyment level. I'm not a comic book guy.
So we're a little biased, and I definitely didn't know like about Moon Knight or the main character in this comic story.
I want to say that the actors in it also didn't know about Moon Knight.
It would seem that they didn't know either.
Because interesting to note, I think Mohamed Diab begged Ethan Hawke to be in this, and it's the first time in 35 years Ethan Hawke didn't read a script before he agreed to do something.
So our luck with like miniseries is not the best, because I hated Bad Vegan. Mm-hmm. I hated 9 Perfect Strangers.
Well, we don't really review a lot of series, mostly because of a timing issue.
Sure.
There's usually a lot going on, so to sit down and have the time well enough in advance to review something, although we did do Mare of Easttown.
Oh, I loved Mare of Easttown.
Same.
That's right. But, so, just straight out the gate, episode 1 of this series, if I hadn't agreed to watch all 6, it would be a no for me. I would not have continued.
Yeah, whatever happened to The Hook being the first episode of a series really getting people invested and interested?
Which, of course, my reference is always House of Cards.
Or Twin Peaks.
Well, I didn't like Twin Peaks. But, no, just, yeah, whatever happened to, like, really knocking it out of the park in the first episode? I feel like I've watched so many things that we didn't even review where I'll start the first episode, and it's like... And I hate... Y'all need to stop telling me, like, oh, by the 3rd season, by the 4th episode...
You're talking about Game of Thrones, I think. Or Breaking Bad, or The Wire, or...
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Sure. Well, this is not an exception, definitely.
Could you imagine, like, eating a burrito and they're like, well, by the halfway point of the burrito, it's going to get good. Like, no. Anyway, we've talked a lot not about this story. So the basic story, as I understood it, is Oscar Isaac plays a character who suffers from a dissociative disorder. Dissociative disorder?
Dissociative identity disorder.
So, like, multiple personalities.
It's not called that anymore.
I know it's not called that. And he is fighting against this god called Amit. And this god, like, is not good. It's evil. And it's trying to heal the world by basically, like, killing off people before they've inevitably done something bad.
Kind of like the precogs in Minority Report.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was watching it.
But in this realm, Amit is in need of this gold scarab beetle that...
Oscar Isaac's character.
Who's playing a man named Stephen Grant, who is one of his personalities. The actual name of this character is Marc Spector, who I believe we'll get to that after in a subsequent episode, of course, but you have to read about that. And F. Murray Abraham is the voice of Khonshu, who is the Egyptian god that is using Spector / Stephen Grant.
Well, let's describe the episode. So we're introduced to Oscar Isaac as this, like, sort of nerdy guy who works in a museum, and he seems to be really preoccupied with the history of, like, Egyptian
There's an Egyptian
gods.
exhibit, and of course.
And we also understand that he's afraid to go to sleep, like Freddy Krueger style. And he's chaining himself down. While he's chaining himself down, he's also setting little traps to see if he's left his bed at night. But he's also on some app to help him stay awake. Because when he does go to bed, bad things happen.
Which is interesting, the tips in that app. Like, read a book, because that'll keep you awake.
Or do a puzzle. And I'm like, those 2 things will put me to sleep in 5 seconds. But anyway, so So we see him, clearly he doesn't want to go to sleep because bad things happen, and then the episode's not even an hour, so he finally does fall asleep, and we see him transported to another realm, and in this realm we find Ethan Hawke.
In the Swiss Alps.
Right, but I'm saying he's like in an alternate something, whether it's a dream or an alternate universe. And we're introduced to Ethan Hawke, who's playing some kind of cult leader, who...
Named Arthur Harrow.
Who's like a disciple of this Amit god.
The devourer of the
and
dead.
And he has some sort of power because we see him in the little village and people are rushing him like he's the Pope. And they want him to like bless them.
But it's like a COVID crowd.
But...
A COVID-sized crowd. It's very small.
Ethan Hawke's character has a tattoo on his arm of the scales of truth? Justice. And we see like one man approach him and he touches the man and the scale turns green and Ethan Hawke says, "You're a good man. Like, go off.
You're a winner, baby."
And then a woman begs him, "Please touch me, read me." And his scale turns red. And he's like, "Sorry, bitch." And she drops dead. Oscar Isaac is there. He's holding onto the scarab. It's clear that Ethan Hawke wants the scarab. But then there's another god called
Khonshu,
who's helping Oscar Isaac. And it's really weird because we get this sort of... I mean, it's probably the most prominent scene in episode 1 of Oscar Isaac trying to evade Ethan Hawke's character and the bad guys chasing him. And because that character, the nerdy guy with the British accent, is not like a fighter, he sort of like blacks out. And then things happen, and then he regains consciousness, and he sees like, oh, I defeated these bad guys, or I like was successfully executed a chase scene or something, which I found really boring because as the audience, we're not seeing him do the things.
Yeah, no, I want to see Sybil Ann Dorset.
I want to see action, and we're not really getting the action because every time something cool would happen, he blacks out. But anyway, the end of the episode is Oscar Isaac is now, has awakened, and he goes to work at the museum, and Ethan Hawke shows up. And then we realize that like everyone working in the museum is part of this cult, and they're trying to get Oscar when like this demon creature is unleashed and is about to destroy Oscar Isaac because he's locked himself in a bathroom, when all of a sudden one of his other personalities...
Well, I think his main... Isn't it the Marc Spector?
Which must be the Marc Spector personality. His true self, I guess.
Because someone named Layla is trying to get a hold of him as well.
That person pops up like in his consciousness and says, "You need to let me take over so I can get us out of here." And he does. And he whoops the demon's ass. And the final shot of the episode is we see... Now Oscar Isaac is dressed like this white, hooded...
I think that's supposed to be Khonshu, I thought.
I was confused because we have the Khonshu god talking to him like, what do you call it? Narration?
Omniscient narration?
Whatever.
He's not narrating, he's speaking to him.
Yeah, we hear that shit. Then we...
Off-screen.
Off-screen, but then we also hear Marc Spector talking to... Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, the end. This is a mess.
This felt very Night at the Museum meets... the Brendan Fraser Mummy films.
Sure.
It felt very YA.
Can I just go through my few notes? The episode opens with a character, I don't know who, getting out of bed, and they are stepping into sandals that have broken glass in them.
I thought that was supposed to be Ethan Hawke's character. Based on the hair, but I'm not sure.
Oh, you're probably right, but that was not effective.
That was not, no.
I don't know what purpose that was supposed to serve.
There was really nothing about this, and then it's very distracting. For an episode... Oscar Isaac is using the shoddy British accent, which is on purpose, come to find, but
for the entire episode, we were like, OMG.
This is Madonna.
And then when we read...
Madonna level British accent.
Yeah. Probably the best part of the episode was his manager at the museum is this awful lady.
Donna.
Who treats him like shit. That was amusing.
She's almost so over the top, though.
It is over the top.
And he is such, he has absolutely no backbone as this Stephen Grant, so it's kind of frustrating to see. And then he's made a date with another coworker to get steak, which is also a thing.
Which I felt like, I guess it's trying to demonstrate that his life is he has no control or
It's chaotic because
Chaotic.
he makes it to the date, but it's 2 days
but it was
late.
very it was uninteresting.
Right, but that lady's like, lose my number. It's like, well, don't you work together? You're gonna have to see them again.
This is why you shouldn't date your coworkers.
No.
There's lots of music.
Yes,
Like the budget for the music is probably more than the CGI.
I do like that Engelbert Humperdinck song, although I was like, is that Tom Jones? But no, it's Engelbert. That they use repeatedly. And then, was it Frankie Goes to Hollywood during the chase scene?
I believe
Or not
so.
Frankie, no, what is that? Wake Me Up Before You Go.
Oh,
I'm getting Zoolander.
Wham! Yeah, no. So there is pretty good music. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's well you have no memory. You've seen several Oscar Isaac films, which is kind of the reason that him and Ethan Hawke would be the reasons I would watch this, but wanted to see this. But Oscar Isaac played that Egyptian god in X-Men Apocalypse,
What?
the Bryan Singer film.
Oh,
That's the one where Olivia Munn's wearing that bathing suit costume when they're at Auschwitz. Yes. So to me, that's interesting.
I'm so uninterested in this that I wanted to tell a story about a scarab.
Okay.
So, I guess this entire plot revolves around a scarab. But in college, I had a roommate who was such a con artist, and I have so many stories about him. But one I'll share is, this is when eBay, because I'm old, so this is when eBay first started. And my old roommate, he used to work at the Luxor.
I know this story.
He used to work at the Luxor in Las Vegas, and they had a gift shop that sold like these little plastic stone scarabs or whatever. I think they were made out of like stone. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't have cost more than like $5 back in the 90s. And this fool got on eBay and posted them like they were like authentic Egyptian scarabs. And he would get them dirty, and then he packaged them nicely.
With the COA, remember those?
Yes. Well, for my job, I often have to deal with those. But yes, so he would sell those on eBay and charge good money, and for a long time was making a lot of money selling these scarabs. Anyway.
What?
As interesting as that stupid story was, that's how I feel about this movie. The CGI.
The CGI is pretty distractingly bad. Yeah.
I think when I think Marvel, I think like top-notch production quality and CGI. So to see, and I know that there are other series on streaming platforms featuring Marvel characters. So I don't know if those are better quality, but this just felt like, I was telling you, it's like if I'm used to driving an S-Class Mercedes and I hop into like an A-Class, it's like, I know that the emblems are the same and the buttons are the same, but this does not feel the same.
That said, I'm not really a fan of the Marvel films, as I've said before in previous reviews. Simply because, yes, state-of-the-art production design and special effects, but story and characterization is always kind of like,
Well, hopefully it picks up. The subsequent reviews will be more focused.
We're not rating it till the end.
But we won't rate it until the
So
end.
yeah, maybe it could pick up. But again, I am a fan of Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke, even F. Murray Abraham, whose voice work will only be featured in this. He won an Oscar for playing Salieri in Amadeus.
I didn't know that.
You watched it and you liked it when we saw that film. It's also one of the last things to feature Gaspard Ulliel, who of course tragically died in that skiing accident.
Oh, the young guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
He'll be in subsequent episodes, but as a villain, I believe. I'm not sure.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Bye.